Hey everyone, it's Mace1370. Today we are going to go over a couple RTA games with Flurry, who has recently gotten an upgrade. Before we get into them though, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, please check the video description below for a link to my Discord. So I showed this Flurry when I did my account review after the end of the last season, but she got an upgrade recently. So I was able to speed her up by 1 point of speed and also significantly increase her tankiness. I did have to drop a little bit of effectiveness, but I think this was definitely an overall upgrade. I can show you the gear again here. I focused mostly on pieces with really high speed, and then I tried to re-roll them to get more tanky stats, since I think you need a decent amount of effective HP on Flurry if you can get it. On the previous build, she was around 16,000 HP and 1600 defense, so this is the upgrade here. It's this new ring. I was able to roll 20 speed on it, which is super awesome. Unfortunately, it's flat health main rather than health percentage, but the subs were actually really good, so I think it compensates for that a bit. And here are the boots. So now that she's up to 19k HP and 1500 defense, I find that she survives a lot better and is a lot more impactful. It's way harder to burst her down, especially with Justice for All. Giving her the healing buff can really increase her survivability and make her incredibly annoying, even if she doesn't land her initial, Provoker Death Break. She'll generate a ton of CR for your team, ton of passive healing, ton of CR boost, just a lot of overall benefit for having this character on your team. In terms of how much effectiveness you want to run, I had her at about 100 before, and that was definitely nice to have, but I think you have to prioritize getting bulk on her over effectiveness. Just in this meta, it's really nice to have this amount of tankiness. And in terms of prioritizing HP or defense, I think it is a bit of a personal preference. I prefer prioritizing HP a bit if you can over defense when getting, her to whatever target effective HP you want, because her effectiveness, or I'm sorry, her health increases how much she heals. Her defense will scale with her damage, so if you focus on defense a bit more, she's going to have better synergy with shields, that get put on her from JFA or from other things, and also she'll do a little bit more damage on her attacks. But I find that having the HP is nicer because it just increases that amount of healing and makes it way harder to take her down. So that's pretty much the quick overview for Flurry. Let's take a look at a couple games where she did really well. Alright, so this first game is against Solara. I have first pick, and so I pre-ban Basar. This will let me take FCC if I want, and I don't have to worry about Basar stripping the shields and putting up unbuffable. Also, by taking FCC first, you have to worry a lot less about Fairy Tale Tenebria because of the interaction with Fallen Cecilia's turn order and the rest of your team and what buff gets stripped by F10E. So as long as your FCC is in front in the turn order, F10E will strip the other hero's shields rather than their immunity, and she just doesn't do anything. Versus if they go before your FCC, they'll have their immunity stripped. It's kind of a weird way of interacting, and it's not intuitive at all. It's not explained that way in the game, but they did come out in I think on a podcast or something, New confirmed that that is the way it's supposed to work. And they changed it in a fairly recent patch. So if you didn't know about it, now you do. He takes 2 Golden Boys and pre-bans the third one. So I take Landy here. LR Crow is going to put up immunity, General Purgus will put up attack buff, so that's a lot of buffs on my opponent's side, and Landy will be able to get a lot of stacks off of those. I take Falconer Kluri because she is able to lock down one of the two and put defense break on them. So for example, if you do that to LR Crow, you'll totally nullify his damage and you'll be able to take him down pretty quickly. A provoked and death broken LR Crow is just not going to do much for the enemy team. Likewise, you could do the same to General Purgus and prevent him from putting attack buff on the enemy team. That's also an option. You have a lot of ways to handle those characters with Flurry. I think she's strong into both of them. I took Landy here as my DPS. I think another option I could have taken was Spectre Tenebria, but you have to be very careful when you take Spec Tenny into LR Crow and General Purgus, because if they're built well, they will just run her over and delete her, unless your Spec Tenny is very tanky. And right now mine is around 11k HP and 1450 defense, and she gets deleted by them, especially if they ban out my FCC. So I plan on making her a little bit more tanky. I'm going to raise her up to about 12k HP and 1500 defense or so to prevent maybe 1400 defense and 12k HP, just to mitigate that true damage from the LR Crow. So he takes Fairy Tale Tenebria here. into both my FCC and my Falconer Kluri. One of the reasons I like building Falconer Kluri so quickly is that she's able to speed contest Fairy Tale Tenebria, and if she is able to land the provoke on her, then she just does nothing, which is really nice. Solara takes Lilius here to counter my Flurry, so I have to think about if I want to ban out the Lilius or not. That's kind of where I'm inclined to put my ban right now. I take Ravi here to combat the LR Crow. I thought Ravi would be a decent pick, since he just doesn't have the damage to deal with Ravi at the moment. I don't think he'll be able to burst her down. And I take Destina to, provide a cleanse from the Fairy Tale Tenebria. And I feel fairly good about leaving F10 in at this point because I have Destina as a cleanse, and I have Falconer Kluri who can outspeed her, and I have Fallen Cecilia for the barriers to prevent, Landy from being stripped. My Ravi is not on immunity, so the barrier won't really do anything for her. He takes Holiday Euphine, which is an interesting choice. It looks like he basically is definitely leaving in my Kluri. So I'm not sure who he's going to ban. Could be either Destina, probably Destina looking at this draft, since I think he is leaning on Fairy Tale here to do some work and lock me down. I banned the Lilius because she might be high effect resistance, wasn't sure. He bans the Destina. So I will have my FCC to protect Landy if things don't work out. And you can see that's a fast Fairy Tale Tenebria, but my Kluri does outspeed. I think most Fairy Tale Tenebrias I've encountered are 280, 290, somewhere in there, so I usually get the first turn of my Kluri. Unfortunately, I get resisted. This could be a Fairy Tale Tenebria on a high ER build. That is possible, or I could have gotten unlucky. I'm honestly not sure. Some people have been building, their units like Blue Rose and stuff like that on ER to counteract Falconer Kluri. And if they do, it's fine. They're really sacrificing a lot of bulk to do that, so you can usually burst them down pretty quickly. So here you can see that my Ravi does get CC'd, and unfortunately, gets a fair bit of CR for Solara there by, the attack into Purgus. But my Landy still has immunity, and that's really important. So she'll be able to go into Guiding Light, to protect herself. I was a little worried about this Holiday Euphine being able to AoE my Landy down. She's more tanky though than Spectre Tenebria, so she's able to take a few hits before she goes into stealth. So LR Crow there is on immunity. I've taken quite a bit of damage, and it looked like the Fairy Tale Tenebria did miss on my Kluri, but I got Abyssal Crown stunned, so that was a little unfortunate. I could skill 3 with my Fallen Cecilia here, but I want to deny the CC push. So instead, I just attack the Holiday Euphine to get rid of her evasion. And now I'm going to skill 3 with the Landy here. I will give a CR boost to the opponent, but I'll get one myself and I'll also get speed buff on the majority of my team. And this will help Ravi, get out of the debuffs because she'll get CR pushed, and it'll help my Falconer Kluri start to turn cycle and heal up and generate CR for my team. FCC does get provoked there. I was able to get Guiding Light on Landy, so that will mitigate a little bit of the damage here coming from Holiday Euphine. It pops her out of stealth, and my FCC goes down. And Landy is getting dangerously low. So I see that the Fairy Tale Tenebria took a fair bit of damage, was able to finish her off. Got a nice dual attack there with Kluri. Now we push up Ravi there with the Falconer Kluri. And I think I just want to take out the damage here as quickly as I can. So I go into Holiday Euphine. My Landy does have a skill 3 available, but I'm not sure if she's going to make it. She doesn't. General Purgus is able to take her out. So now it is just Kluri and Ravi against the world. I went into LR Crow there. Probably should have just attacked the Holiday Euphine instead. That was a mistake. I should have really just tried to get her down. Get a nice counterattack there from Ravi, who now has her skill 3 charged and ready to go. And you can see the heal buff there on Justice for All on Kluri is really going to mitigate a lot of that burn damage coming in and keep her alive. So we get some stuns and take out the Holiday Euphine. So now I'm just going to work on the Crow. I want to leave Purgus to last because he gets, a CR boost whenever I hit him. I have my skill 3 here, so I'm going to go into the LR Crow, because I think he was getting around to his skill 3 soon. So this will keep him provoked and death broken.
Prepare yourselves.
I could go into the Crow here, but I feel like he's crowd controlled, so he's fine. So instead I just burn onto the General Purgus to kill him. When you score that killing blow on Purgus, he does not get the CR boost to the rest of his team. So it's worth trying to finish him off when you have the opportunity to. You don't have to worry about that final CR boost. And now it's just LR Crow versus these two, and there's just no way he can, you know, finish them off, even though he has his Soul Burn S3 here. I just have way too much sustain on my side with, you know, Ravi's healing and Falconer Kluri's healing. So we got a little bit lucky with, you know, the counterattack, and I think I might have gotten a dual attack with Flurry there at one point, but got unlucky with, you know, her S3 in the beginning of the game. Okay, next up we have a game against a player on the Korea server. I don't know if I've run into this person yet. They get first pick. Since I have second pick, I pre-ban Fairy Tale Tenebria, since, you know, I don't want to give my opponent the opportunity to take FCC and have F10E open for them to also take. And this allows me to take Basar if they first pick Fallen Cecilia. But none of that happens. They take General Purgus first. So I have to think, how do I want to deal with General Purgus? And Falconer Kluri is, I think, a good option for him because of, as I mentioned before, the provoke prevents him from putting up attack break, and defense break on him allows you to kill him really quickly and mitigate his CR boost for the team pretty well. So I take Falconer Kluri, and now I have a couple options. I could take Ambitious Tywin here. I decided to take LR Crow, and the reason being, this way the opponent is less incentivized to take a Tywin, since I have immunity up. It also prevents them from taking, you know, LR Crow and General Purgus, which is a lot of damage when you put those two together. So the opponent takes Blue Crow, which is a good pick into LR Crow, I think, because LR Crow will use his skill 3 and Blue Crow is able to use his horse ability pretty soon because of all of that, you know, AoE damage and the Aureus effect on the Blue Crow. Then he takes Red Ravi. Seems a little early to take Red Ravi. I mean, he has the Blue Crow, so I'm probably not going to take her. I guess he just wanted to deny it to me. I could take a Tywin here, but I like to take Spectre Tenebria since she, you know, has kind of protection from the Blue Crow. We can't hit her with that one. He will be able to hit her with the General Purgus S3, but he doesn't have a ton of AoE at this point. And I can lock down the GP if I want to in the beginning. And then I take Seaside Bologna since I have the LR Crow. I don't have to worry about LR Crow and Rowana being picked on my opponent's team. So my plan there was to take SSB and just ban the Rowan if he took it, which he does. And then also Landy. So I can let the Landy through. I feel like taking Landy with Blue Crow, I've seen people do this, and you know, he will give her the Aureus protection, but you don't have any shields, so if you have a few different ways to pop her out of, you know, stealth with AoE attacks, it becomes pretty easy to take her out, since the shields plus stealth make her completely obnoxious, since a single AoE attack may not break the shield and then she'll stay in stealth. But without those shields, all you need is just a single AoE. So I take RB here. He only has Blue Crow to offer mitigation, so I feel like my RB by himself can probably take out the Landy, or at least severely cripple her. I have AoEs from SSB as well to break the Landy out of stealth. I have an AoE from Crow to break the Landy out of stealth. He bans the Spectre Tenebria, who potentially could, you know, use her skill 1 once her skill 3 is on cooldown and break her out, so I feel like I have answers to Landy here. So trying to decide who I want to skill 3, I go on the Purgus because I want to deny him the attack buff. He's also up next. I only get the provoke, but that's the more important of the two. That'll prevent him from giving attack buff to Landy and to Ravi, which would be a ton of damage. So I skill 3 with RB. I think we gabbed there, so that was nice. And the turn order I think works out a bit in my favor, since Landy is going to go before my LR Crow, and his Blue Crow also goes before my LR Crow. So he has to lap around before he has an opportunity to skill 3. He is able to put up defense buff here. He gets a nice dual attack there into RB, almost finishing him off.
Requesting approval.
But this also, again, kind of works a little bit to his disadvantage since he's going to kill RB here. He probably would have killed him with the skill 3. Maybe not. That was only like 8k damage or so. It would have been close. And I gab again, so I'm a gab gamer. But this is going to be a ton of damage. Basically 2 RBS3s, I think both with gab, plus an LR Crow S3 coming right up after. He keeps countering with Ravi, which is not cool, so that he's getting a lot of healing there. But his blue Crow has taken quite a beating. And now my LR Crow goes and is able to wipe out both the Crow and the General Purgus. Another counter from Ravi. So Ravi can skill 3 here, but doing that is a little dangerous since it means SSB will get her back, probably killing the Landy. So he has to back off a bit and try to save it and take out the SSB first. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he's going to have the damage to do that since, Ravi is opposite element and there's a good chance Ravi will just miss on SSB a fair bit while trying to get her down, all the while, getting counterattacked and hit by Flurry, etc. Flurry's passive healing is also going to make SSB a lot harder to deal with. Since every time, Ravi misses, Falconer Kluri is pretty much going to heal back that entire damage and waste a turn. So there's a miss, you can see. And now we have defense broken and heal blocked Ravi, so she's pretty much deado. Flurry gets 2 turns in a row, and that is game. And I think that's it, so thanks for watching.